Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, September 16th, 2024. AJ and I are jumping on, give you a week two NFL recap. We're recording this Sunday night, so we're keeping up with the Texans Bears game right now, so you'll hear that recap here at the end. But yeah, we were just talking, AJ, what a weird weekend in football it has
Dude,
been.
it feels like an alternate reality. Everything you thought was going to happen, the exact opposite happened in the vast majority of NFL games this weekend.
It is between my DraftKings, my Survivor, my Pick'em, my fantasy, just everything has just been completely upside down, and
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has been kind of feeling that too. And we'll talk about that real quick. In our Survivor League, we have probably like 13 or 14 people left in there. Um, I think four of us picked a different team. It was Cowboys, Ravens. I picked the Rams. Somebody else had picked a team that lost, but they were all like decent picks. Picking the
Yeah.
Ravens over the Raiders made sense. Picking the Cowboys over Saints made sense. I picked the Rams over the Cardinals. Felt like that made sense. Like even no Puka, I thought that was a good shot. And yeah, and then like six people picked the Commanders,
For the
and
record, the other team was the 49ers.
that was the other one that got picked.
Yeah, they
Yeah, so
took the
yeah, the four teams that
49ers over the
should have
Vikings.
won and got beat, and then like six other people picked the Commanders, and that game came down to the final seconds, and that was
Yeah.
one where like if you could tell the Giants were about to choke that final drive too, that like they were heading down, and it was like they're gonna fumble it, like they're gonna not get this done, and then Jaden Daniels is gonna get them in a field goal range, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
as an Eagles fan, I really wanted both teams to lose. But then, since I was already eliminated by taking the Cowboys, I was really hoping everybody else in the in
do an
survival
even
would get a
split or
yeah,
everybody gets
just
bought back.
everybody gone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's
no big deal.
yeah, that's yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna March Madness survival, and the only time I've ever won it was a four-way tie, and that was how it happened. Is all four of us like my team lost first, and so I was like, all right, the hell with this. And then like the next day, all three of the other people their teams lost, and I was like, sweet. So now we all split it. So,
yeah.
but all
Not to
right,
gloss
yes,
over it though, college football was a really good weekend.
yeah, that's true.
There's no big surprises. There were a couple teams of unranked matchups where somebody was like a 10 or 11 point underdog and they won. That's great. Shout out to Akron was one of those. But in terms of the top 25 and the big schools, most of, if not all of them, won the games they were supposed to win. Um,
Yep.
Maybe not by as much as they were. Looking at you,
Yeah,
Georgia.
Georgia, that was a
That was a
sketchy
great game
game.
though.
Yes,
So
I was rooting for Kentucky as a
same.
UNC fan in basketball. I was like, I could never. It feels sick to come out of my mouth, but I was like, dude, I want Kentucky football to pull this off.
Yeah,
Wisconsin, they had a weird hot start, and I was like, they might beat Alabama. That looked
yeah.
cool. Yeah, there was another one.
LSU South Carolina was another really good game.
That one too. That
36-33
penalty is
final.
that penalty was a pick six for South Carolina. They should have and could have won that and
Yes.
didn't. And then I mean like Tennessee taking care of business. Their quarterback people are saying is the real deal, and he 71
71
nothing
nothing.
is crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah,
wild.
even if
So
it's Kent State, it's still a big
that's a
win.
rough afternoon for Kent State. Like you got to be at class on Monday after some shit like that. Like that's a rough weekend. But
Yeah. I mean, you had
yeah,
to
other than that,
expect it though, right?
yeah.
You don't
But yeah,
go
other
into
than that,
that
yeah, there
thinking
wasn't
you're gonna
anything
win.
too crazy. Yes, yeah, everybody
And
else, like
then
you
I
said, it
think
was
the
kind
only
of as
thing I want to bring
expected.
up is, and this is purely based on name, Arch Manning, my guy,
True.
4 touchdowns in relief. Quentin
Yep.
Ewers. I I think if you'd asked me last week after Michigan got curb stomped, that I think Quentin Ewers probably would have been front runner for Heisman, and
Now
now
his
he's out,
backup could
and
be
his
doing it.
backup,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, what a weird
backup comes
scenario
in and
there.
name alone. So I don't
I
know. We'll see what
honestly,
happens.
I can't even lie. Did Quinn get benched for because they were up, or did he get hurt?
No, he got hurt. Yeah,
Ooh, I did. I completely missed that.
yeah.
So okay, yeah,
I
I'll have to dig
forget
back into that.
why.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, that could be interesting going forward. Then,
but
depending
yeah,
on his timetable for return, that'll be a very interesting
yeah. I
play out.
saw him
Because
walking, but I saw they were holding his helmet, so I
that's
don't know
yeah,
if
I
it was
was
a
yeah.
concussion. Uh,
Yeah, we'll have to
yeah,
dig
or
into
what?
that then. But yeah, that's yeah. I knew the Arch Manning era was coming eventually, and I saw that he had some stats, and I just assumed that they were up big, like he probably got in. But as soon as you said four touchdowns, I was like, damn, that was early for him to be
No,
in.
it
Like that
was
game
early.
wasn't away yet for them to put him in. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, college football was a solid weekend. Everything like you said that should have happened pretty much did. Georgia should have won by another 70 points, but other than that, I mean, it was pretty straightforward.
He suffered an oblique strain.
Interesting. So he
Yeah.
will probably be back pretty quickly. I feel like
I'm gonna
that's
be
not.
honest with you. Your oblique somewhere in your chest,
I
right?
was just say I thought it was a chest muscle. That's why as soon as you said, I was assuming it's somewhere in here. It's like a stomach or something. Like when you stretch
I
back,
think
like
I
it's an
remember that from high school
overextension.
gym class.
Yeah, that's we'll do the quick. I feel like Jamie from Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Jamie, can you tell me
Leak.
where the oblique is?
We need Brad on live so he can look this stuff for
Yeah.
us. Doing all the audio and stuff in the background is great, but we need you in
Yeah.
here live to handle this stuff. Oblique muscle pain occurs due to side strain. This is confusing. It does
Yeah.
not. It,
I
like I
think
was
it's on your
expecting.
side, right?
I
Like
was
right in here
expecting like just
somewhere.
like an image of external obliques. Yeah, so it's the sides. So yeah, he just got twisted pretty good then. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be fine. I mean, unless they put Arch in now
Yeah.
with 4 touchdowns. But
I want to be the
alrighty.
first time something crazy
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, that's true. But
All
yeah,
right.
so it wasn't too
Uh,
crazy for a college football weekend. We'll jump right over
yeah.
and
Where do you want to
dig
start?
in.
I
You
guess.
want to go right at top down?
Yep. Works for me.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a
I
problem.
couldn't be happier.
I'll let you lead that one. I'll let you take that.
Shout out to our boy John. John is a huge Saints fan, and
At Smoothie.
they demolished the Cowboys. I don't think anybody saw this game coming. I think
No,
even
no, no,
Saints fans didn't see this one coming.
no, 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 no. Even
Um,
it, like it should have at least been a good game,
yeah,
and it just
for the
was not.
record, Saints 44, Cowboys 19. Um,
In Arlington,
yeah,
in
and
Texas, in
yes,
Jerry's house, right in Jerry's living room.
yes.
Man,
Um, so big win for the Saints. Congrats to them. I could not be more proud and blessed for you guys on a day like today.
just to watch
Uh,
the Cowboys lose.
yeah, nothing. Very few things make me happier than that. So yeah, I don't know. Cowboys being Cowboys, like I don't know what else you call that.
I was gonna say that I saw like a meme of Dak Prescott where it was like, oh, like it's sort of satire of like totally worth 240 million. Oh my god, so glad we spent 60 million on 293 yards with 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and like a 70 some passer rating. So it's like
Yeah,
he's getting the yards and the touchdowns, and he's big and he can scramble and he sounds cool huddling it like autoing from the line, and then it ends there. Like that's about it. And so yeah,
yeah,
that was that's like he's gonna put up the stats. Like your MVP pick could still be legitimate, and they could be a wild card team, and like that all
yeah,
could be there. They just like the Cowboys just for some reason find a way to not get it done,
yeah,
and allowing Rashid Shaheed and Alvin Kamara to just go wild today. Kamara, I believe, had 4 touchdowns. He had 3 rushing and 1 reception,
yes, he
but
did.
20 carries for 115 yards. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, Kamara just went nuts. So, yeah, Saints look good. I was thinking about
Saints
this
back to
earlier.
back 40-point
I
games.
so yeah, they said they needed to score 47 to be the first team in like a decade or something like that to be 3 games in a row because week 18 of last year the Saints scored 47.
Oh,
So
okay.
they would have had a 3 game stretch of 47 or more points. The last team to do it was like the Randy Moss Wes Welker Patriots. Like I think they said it was
Sure,
07 or 08.
sure, that makes
Yeah, and so
sense.
they had like 4 games in a row of 40 some points,
Yeah.
um but yeah, I feel like week one is always just kind of a wash, and now I feel like
Yes.
week two kind of has to be like that way too. Like I want to get to like week 3 or 4 before we really like you really get like a vibe of how these teams
Yeah.
are because like this is one of those games where like are the Cowboys that bad or are the Saints that good? Like are the Saints for real? Like are
Yeah.
they about to be a number one, number two
Well,
seed
they play
or
my birds next week, so I
that's
hope they
yeah.
are not.
Yeah, that's yeah. So like it could just be that the Cowboys do their typical Cowboy stuff and then they actually end up still to be the 1 or 2 seed. But like right
Yeah.
now in your head, you're like, what the hell?
I mean, look,
Was it just a bad day at the office or
yeah,
is
the
this what
offense
the
is clearly
season is gonna
clicking,
be?
so
Yeah,
I don't know that they're 47 and 44-point good, but I think they're definitely good.
yeah,
And I think they're probably going
for
to mess
sure.
up both of our
I was gonna say we
picks.
keep talking shit on Dennis Allen, so I feel like he is. If they're gonna fall apart, it's either gonna be
Because
injuries or Dennis Allen.
I'm looking over the schedule, and man, there's a few games like they have to go at the Chiefs in early October, and then after that,
You're talking Saints schedule right
yeah,
now.
the Saints
Oh
schedule. Yeah,
man,
you have the Eagles, Falcons at Chiefs, and then Buccaneers, Broncos, Chargers, Panthers, Falcons, Browns, Rams, Giants, Commanders, Packers,
Damn.
Raiders, Buccaneers.
Were
I
they last in their division last year? What the hell? They got
yeah,
all the
I
easy
mean,
games. That's crazy. Dude,
yeah.
the Saints really could end up to be a one or two, if the Saints continue to play how they are. The Saints could end up being a one or
Yeah.
two seed. I don't want that clipped and turned a weird way. I am if they
Yeah.
continue this rate of offense and stellar defense, because they do have ballers on defense. Like
Yeah.
they got people that
Yeah,
fly
they're
around.
missing
So like,
Lattimore today, and still held the Cowboys to 19
yep,
points.
yep. That's yeah. Lattimore's a special one to me because when we went to Philly, John and I did to see
Yeah.
him get drafted. It's like that's one that always just like resonates well with me. I'm like, dude, we got to see him get drafted. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
I
So
forget who the Broncos. I think I think was that our Garrett Bowles year. I don't know. Now I gotta look that up. But
fair enough. We'll
yeah. See if
move
we can
on
jump into that
while
next
you're
one.
looking that up. Buccaneers Lions, another game. I don't think anybody predicted this. Buccaneers go into Detroit
Nope.
and beat up the Lions a little bit. Um, Looking at Jared Goff with 2 interceptions, that's killer.
Yeah. But still,
I
300 yards is like a Dak a
Yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly. I don't know.
And
Is
they struggled against the Rams too, who then just got blown out by the Cardinals today.
Yeah,
So are we not high on the
two.
Lions as we thought? Like
Yeah.
that's a tough look.
To be fair, the Rams had a lot of injuries.
That's true
I
too.
think I
Yeah, they need to
saw that they
retail
had like
their entire
11
line or whatever.
starters
Yeah, they had
missing
something like that.
this week. Um, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, props to Baker, right? He finds ways to win games, and the Lions doing Lions things. Who did the Broncos draft that year?
Look at it right now. Garrett Bowles. Is that what I
Bulls.
said?
Yeah, that is
I
who
think.
you said.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought that was the Garrett Bowles year. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought we had a
Yeah,
better pick too. Yeah, but that was Miles Garrett, Mitchell Trubisky, Solomon Thomas, Leonard Fournette, Corey Davis, Jamal Adams, Mike Williams, Christian McCaffrey. I forgot we saw Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore.
wow.
Oh my god, I feel like I did not realize that. Did we see them walk across the stage?
I would assume so.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some digging on that. I don't feel like I did. Yeah, Hassan Reddick, Deshaun
Maybe
Watson.
not Patrick Mahomes, but
I guess. Oh yeah, duh. So they would have been at home and doing their little like home view party
yeah,
stuff. But still, I mean, yeah, I probably saw a handful of them. Definitely, yeah, I remember that. That's crazy. But
yeah,
yes, yeah, we were there. That was I remember seeing that. That was the NFL draft. They popped up randomly that one year, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do it in Philly." Like real low key. Like there wasn't a ton of marketing and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, I'm absolutely going," because I feel like they're never gonna do that again. I was like,
yeah,
"I have to go to that." I was like, "It's just a one like." Because we're never gonna. I think it's always in Texas, and so I was like, and it was in like
yeah.
Chicago
They
a year or
rotate it
two
every year.
ago. I don't. Do they?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. It
All right. Well,
rotates
then
around the
hopefully it is
NFL.
back around here because I definitely thought that it was in one place. And but yeah, so yeah, we got to see that one. But anyway, yeah, bouncing back to what you were saying. Yeah, because I had to look that up real quick.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Buccaneers sneaking away a win. I mean, they are good, and everyone thought they were going to be good. But the Lions, it's scary that they aren't looking as good as we thought they were going to
yeah,
be. And I mean, yeah, like Baker though, like he's a dog. I love me some Baker, and then
yeah.
then Mike Evans is too. Like
It's hard to look at the stat line and you see Jared Goff 307 yards, Shamir Gibbs 84 yards, Amon-Ra St. Brown 119 yards on 11 receptions, and they lost the game.
nothing. Yeah, yeah,
I,
nothing.
uh,
Nothing doing.
but the flip side to that, you throw 2 interceptions, that's hard to overcome. Not
Yeah.
not very many teams do that. So
Yep.
yeah, you look at Jared
Um.
Goff and you say keep it clean, and I think you have a good chance of winning.
Yeah. That's yeah. I think the Lions will bounce back. I think they'll kind of get some footing going. But I mean, yeah, the Bucks look good too. Though I think that could be one of those problems for the Saints. But
Yeah,
that'll be some good games. Saints Bucks surprisingly, as we talked about being the worst team in the division or the worst division in the league, now has two of the best teams in the NFC appearing. So
I mean 2-0, two of the best teams in the NFL.
true. That too. That too. But on the opposite side of 2-0, we are looking at the Indianapolis Colts at
Oof.
0-2. Was a rough day. One of my
Yeah,
parlays, I had Anthony Richardson for an anytime touchdown. Thought he was running one in. He did get a touchdown, but it was a passing touchdown.
yeah,
Had 3 interceptions though, and it was
yeah.
the stat sheet doesn't do the justice of how they played today. I feel like it was a rough day, and I mean it
I
was for both teams. But Malik Willis is like it's his first snaps, and like Yeah,
Yes.
both teams look sloppy. I think the Packers fans have some hope that without Jordan Love, if he's back in a couple weeks, they should be fine. Like they can
Yeah.
hold it down for a little while, but they're not going to be beating top tier teams. They can
Yeah.
beat the mid tier teams though, so they put the Colts down to make
I
them look bad. But
I think if you told a Packers fan after the Eagles loss and they know like 4 to 6 week time frame for Jordan Love, that puts them earliest he's back against the Rams. And you tell them that they're gonna be 2-2. I think they're happy. And
yeah,
right now they're
true.
one and
That's
one.
yeah,
So and they have the
yeah, yeah.
Titans and Vikings after that. So I think they
Titans
probably
is a
beat
win.
the
Vikings is a
Vikings and
loss.
lose to
Yeah,
the Vikings.
yep.
Although it is at home, so maybe you get that, Lambeau
Pressure
Field's
bump. Yeah,
rocking,
I don't know. Vikings
something's
look good.
happening.
We'll touch on them, but they're looking
But
good.
yeah, yeah, but divisional games are weird like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never bodes how you think it will.
yeah. All right, moving on. Do you want to take this one,
Yeah, yeah. We'll jump right in here.
Mr. Ayahuasca himself?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Love me some Aaron Rodgers. They put away the Titans. I think they don't look still as great as you would want them to. I think it's still slow, but again, this is technically like Aaron's first kind of few games. This is what
Yeah,
we were expecting to happen last year, but now there's still that mental note of like, oh, he's been there for a year, but like not really. Like this
yeah,
is like he just signed that contract. Like, so I mean, they had a training camp, but that's about it. So they still looked rough. Will Mayo Boy Levis is uh, hysterical to watch play football. He reminds me of Tim Tebow a lot. Like he's just an entertaining dude to watch out there. Just like he has the Kyler Murray toddler run when he's scrambling.
yeah,
Like it's just yeah, he's out there doing his thing. But um, Titans are definitely in a rough spot right now. Feel terrible for um, DeAndre Hopkins being there. Like that's terrible. Like they
yeah,
need like Calvin Ridley being like the leading receiver. Like yeah, they're in a rough spot right now. But um, Tony Pollard looks solid. I'm
yeah.
surprised Dallas let him walk last year. Like he looks
They
good
don't
the
have
year
money for
before.
him.
That's yeah,
You
that's
gotta
true too.
when
Yeah,
you look at who
Dak and
they had to
CD.
pay
Yeah,
CD, Dak, and Micah's next year.
yeah, and not including the money that they have invested in their line. Like
Yes,
that's where some of the
exactly.
money is. That's where the cap hits are is in their line, just
Yeah.
chunking it. But
So they were like, "Sorry, guy. Thanks,
you're
but
the odd man out. We're gonna
yeah,
bring in old ass fucking Ezekiel Elliott to fill the spot.
yeah,
I know Alan Lazard was a huge pickup on everyone's fantasy radar because he had 2 touchdowns last week, went 2 receptions for 11 yards on 4 targets this week. So as expected for
yes,
fantasy owners who picked him up, did pretty much nothing. Um, but yeah, I mean these two teams are it's gonna be a long season for these two, and not in the way we typically say it, where we say it optimistically. We go, hey, it's gonna be a long season. Like it's gonna be a long ass
yeah,
year for Tennessee.
yes, for sure. Although I guess in recent because they had Derrick Henry, they weren't used to it, but they're not too far removed from being used to it.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry. That was I mean, even like yeah, they just had these little glimpses of hope, and they did have that one playoff run. But it's
Yeah,
they're not a
Tannehill.
team that's yeah, they're not a team that's going to beat the Chiefs or like one of these NFC or the 49ers when they were doing really well. Like they're just not going to beat them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
I agree.
curious. I took a look at mock draft for next year. If they're tanking, who are they going to get? And there is a quarterback Carson Beck out of Georgia,
Yep.
Shador Sanders.
Yeah,
They're the top two quarterbacks and the only two in the top 10. They have Quinn Ewers going 14th. So, and Archie Manning could shoot himself to the top of
yeah.
that
Well,
list. And that is, there's a long
we'll
season. So
get
anything could
to.
happen.
I think we'll get to a few more teams here that are going to need quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's true too. But
So
that's a but if the Titans are the worst, which it looks like they could potentially be fighting the Panthers for that spot.
Panthers and the Giants
Yeah, well, see, the Giants did a little promise today. Danny Dimes looked a little good today,
against the
but
Commanders.
hey, they actually have a decent defense though. Their offense is what's shaky. They have a
Yeah,
decent defense, but
sure.
sure. But okay, yeah, on to another powerhouse team of a surprise though. I'll let you lead
Yeah,
that one off.
yeah, here we are. Vikings 23, 49ers 17. The game was in Minneapolis. Um, missing CMC goes to IR.
That
Out
is
another
crazy.
4 weeks. Fantasy owners gotta be pissed off, right?
It's not even fantasy universe at this point because I did a little one of those little Reddit dives you and I do, and I got stuck reading about it. I heard it in a podcast and wanted to do a dive. It's gonna turn into a lot more than that because now this is where Congress could get involved with NFL and gambling and the partnerships and everything because that's who's pissed off. Vegas lost a ton of
Yeah.
money that first week on CMC not being announced out. So then Jordan Mason saying that he was playing Friday. That's why everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's probably just like a little fine. It's no big deal. It's just
Yeah,
the
from the
NFL saying
NFL.
a $50,000 fine. Like it's the
Yeah.
normal whatever." But then I heard the thing about like I heard the word Congress and was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then it was like, "Okay, no, that does actually make sense. Like this is where they come in and make sure there's like it's I don't know if racketeering is the right word, but that's what you think of like illegal gambling kind of
Yeah.
charges. Like that's essentially what it becomes if they're like, what if Shanahan had a shit ton of money on the other team and then last minute was like, by the way, he's not playing like that. That affects the spreads, and so
Hmm.
I think Vegas is going to put a lot of money into investigating what just happened. I don't think the NFL typically cares too much, and I don't think fantasy owners have the pool to do it. I think that I heard that and I was like, that makes so much sense. And yes, when you start digging into it, it's been a problem forever.
Yeah.
The partnership between the NFL and gambling and whether or not they should be in bed together, since you can gamble on the NFL and advertisers with individual athletes and everything. So yeah, so I think that this could definitely be the start of a like it'll be like NIL for college football. We've been dealing with that for 5 or 10 years now.
Yeah.
I think that'll become this investigation into when and how teams have to declare players and what the penalties are. And I think it'll all base around gambling though, because that's where the money is and that's where the votes are going to come. So,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
interesting to see.
that's a
Interesting to
valid
see how that's
point,
going to go.
and I'll let you take that tinfoil hat off and talk about the next game.
Hey, look, it makes sense. That is, I heard it and I was like, let me do a quick dive. And I was like, damn, this all actually checks out. But
Yeah.
yeah, getting back to football though, yeah, the Vikings and the 49ers, it was a day for Justin Jefferson, who ended up leaving with an injury. I don't think we heard too much back yet on that, but
Yeah, it's a
he,
little
he
early
looked
yet.
okay. Yeah, he looked all right. Jordan Mason did look good in C-Mac's spot, had the 20 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
Sure, you
Brock
and I would look
Party,
good behind that offensive line.
facts. Yeah, yeah. I could probably get a first down or so. Maybe I would hope so. Yeah, I would follow Trent Williams through the depths
Yep.
of hell. I would follow that man through anything. That's crazy. But yeah, Darnold. This we talked about this in one of our first couple of episodes, whether or not it was one we ended up posting or not. But Darnold looks solid. It was his
Yeah.
prove it year. It's in this system that was built for Kirk Cousins, and then he left, and then they just drafted this rookie with no plan for anything else, and then he gets hurt, and now Darnold's in there. So you have kind of a knockoff Kirk Cousins type player, like a stand-up tall pocket passer. So I,
Yeah.
I think the Vikings could still do pretty well. Let's say they beat the 49ers today,
Yeah,
and
they
the
are 2 and
49ers
0.
essentially have all their pieces. So I mean, again, obviously no
Yeah.
C-Mac, but other than that, they have everyone. So Fred Warner is a fucking monster. That man is just a freak. That fumble that he had, he just literally did like the Ray Lewis punch, like the Ed Reed down punch thing, and just
Yeah.
knocked the ball out like right along the goal line. Like, yeah, and then I think the Vikings had a block punt as well. So it was just like lots of special teams out here today, a lot of defense. But yeah, Vikings come away 23, 49ers 17, like you said, it was in Minnesota, but um, 49ers look weary, and Vikings look to be a team again
Yeah.
if they stay healthy as is, and Justin Jefferson's good and comes
So
back, that they could be okay.
yeah, since 1990, teams that start 2 and 0 make the playoffs 72.6% of the time. So
3 out of 4. How many?
yeah, and that's before the playoffs were expanded for most of those years. So I think they have a good shot.
So 3 out of 4, and we have Bills are 2-0, Chargers, Chiefs, Steelers, Seahawks, Vikings, Saints, and Bucks.
Yep.
So essentially, 2 of those teams that I just named are going to fizzle out and not make the playoffs. So each conference has basically 4 teams, and then yeah, it's one of those teams is going to fizzle. Both conferences have 4 teams that are 2-0, and
Mhm.
essentially 3 out of 4 of those are going to make it. So one
Yeah.
of those 2-0 teams, if you're a 2-0 team, sorry to tell you, but one of you guys is not going to make the playoffs.
Pittsburgh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's take a guess on who it is.
You're
Yeah,
looking at
Pittsburgh.
Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, and Kansas City
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
AFC.
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh,
is going to
I'm
be the team
sorry.
that could fall apart there.
Yeah.
And NFC,
To be fair, that game's not over yet.
I don't
The Eagles
love.
and Falcons could both be, or no, just the Eagles could be 2 and 0.
That's true too. And tonight the Texans could be 2-0.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Texans I think definitely make the playoffs. So I think the Seahawks in the NFC would be the team that fumble and just kind of fall apart and don't go playoffs.
Um,
Out of the teams,
yeah, I
Bucks.
mean, you're looking at the Bucks and the Saints. I could see both of those teams doing it as well.
Yeah, that's true too.
I
So
don't. I think you're right though. If I were gonna gamble on one of those teams, I'd take in the Seahawks. But
okay.
all
All right,
right,
cool.
moving on. Speaking of the
Yeah,
Seahawks,
yep, right into it.
overtime against the Patriots.
Yep,
Seahawks
this was
23, Patriots 20. That's in New England. I didn't watch a lot of this game. It seemed kind of boring, if I'm
it
being
was
honest.
very just slow and back and forth.
Yeah,
I did have Ramondre Stevenson for a touchdown in one of my parlays. He did hit that, so that was sweet.
there you go.
Um, Jacoby Brissett again. That's everyone is just waiting for the Drake May Day, and
Yeah,
I think that yeah, Mayday is coming.
yeah,
He's just not doing enough, and I think that like Gerard Mayo being a new coach, like it's the conversations start to rotate, and then
yeah,
now what? And so you might as well just put him in and get him exposed and just try to start using him because if you're not, you're just like, what's the point? And so, um, Geno Smith looks amazing, which is just so crazy. I'm
yeah,
legitimately happy for him. 327 and a touchdown. Did take a couple of sacks. I hate how the fucking quarterback rating works because he had a 73 quarterback rating. So I
yeah,
don't understand how that could even work with just three sacks unless he had a fumble. But I mean, they got the win. It was 23-20 in overtime. Um, I will say I thought Drew Lock was still on there. Had to look him up. Found out he is a backup for Danny Dimes. Did not
yeah,
even realize that. So they signed him on a 1 year deal. So Drew Lock is in former Bronco drafted there. So yeah, he's in New York now. Um, Tyler Lockett, I wish he was still who he used to be. He was the Percy
yeah.
Harvin after Percy Harvin, that returning receiver that was just an
Mhm.
OG. I have him on my fantasy team, but 2 receptions, 15 yards this week kind of stinks. DK had a touchdown. That man is a fucking specimen, dude. Like, if you didn't get to see
Yes,
that touchdown, look that one up because
yes,
he has like a 5 to 10 yard like gap on the dude, and it just you just see him separating, and then he's like doing like this high step thing into the end zone, like celebrating basically like 10 yards to go, but he's running faster celebrating than the dude is like he is just so weird to watch
yes,
play football, and he's so fucking big. So yeah, watching him play is amazing. I love watching DK play. He's like the reason that if a Seahawks game is on, I'm like, all right, like especially if they're on offense, I'm gonna check
yeah.
that out. But
Same, I get that.
but yeah, other than that though, that's yeah. I mean, Seahawks they are 2-0. They beat my Broncos last week. They beat the Patriots this week. So I mean, they played two shit teams essentially, but we shall see. They could definitely be a surprise, solid 9, 10, 11 win team in the
Yeah,
NFC. So
yeah. I mean, looking through their schedule, they've got, you know, not easy, but doesn't look bad for being a 10-win team, starting
right,
2-0. So
yeah. I'll let you
we'll
take that
see what
next one. That's
happens.
right up in your alley.
Yeah, moving on to Giants 18, Commanders 21. So the Commanders pull it out at home. We kind of discussed this a little bit earlier, but I can't say I feel bad for the Giants, but I was really pulling for them to
I
eliminate
was
everyone in the Survivor pool. And
everyone.
man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm
I just don't
thankful
know
as
what
an
to say about
Eagles.
the Giants. I just don't know
Yeah,
what to do.
you guys just find new ways to lose. It's
I that
almost impressive.
they looked so good for 90% of the game, and
Yeah,
I could it was just one of those moments. I wish I would have like texted it to you so you had a screenshot or a timestamp, but I was like, they're about to fuck this drive up. Like
yeah,
you could just tell Danny Dimes was just like, everyone's gonna stop talking shit about me this week. Everyone's all I gotta do is get this first down, and like he just looked so scared, and it was
yeah,
just like these weird passes and check downs that he was missing, and like overthrew one I think, and then they ran some weird running play and it looked like he handed it late, and the dude went to like juke, ran into the offensive lineman. So it was one where like if it was just smooth, he would have had a gap, and
yeah,
it was like three or four of those. They punted, they got the ball back, and then at that it was like this is your last chance to just get it was 18-18 at that point. It was like
yeah,
just get down there and kick the field goal, like just win this game. And then they're in just about range and had to punt, and then the Redskins just go the Commanders just go charging down the field. And I really, dude, when I see that golden red, it's just Redskins in my head.
yeah. I
Um,
get that. You have
Devin
to give
Singletary.
okay, you
Go
going
ahead. No,
Devin
no,
Singletary first? I was gonna start with Malik Neighbors.
dude.
10
Yes,
for
that is another one.
127 a
Yes,
touchdown.
yes.
Man, that guy's. I know he dropped that ball late that on that
Would
fourth down
have would have
play.
helped. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that is technically your game, right? Because then the Commanders go down and
Yeah,
kick the field goal to win it. So,
yeah, yep.
I mean,
That's
he's a rookie. It's gonna happen.
but he looks good. Like,
But
yeah,
yeah,
being a kid, he's a child. Like that man, he's a
yes,
grown ass man, but he's a kid. Like that's
yeah, in
yeah.
the
When
NFL.
you're a rookie, yeah, in the
Yeah,
NFL, like that's you're playing some serious ball at that point. And so yeah, I
yeah,
mean, he looked good, and he got his touchdown in there too. So,
yeah.
um, Devin Singletary was just going to give him a slight shout out because he got me a touchdown in fantasy, and he was one of my shit pickups where I just needed a running back, and I knew he was going to be their main back. So it was
Yeah,
like, honestly, the Giants are going to be good, but he is going to be a point machine for me. So I was like, I'll take him.
yep.
Someone else that deserves a shout out for playing just good hard nosed football is Zach Ertz. Caught a pass. If you saw
Bless,
that,
bless.
linebacker jumps up, picks it pretty much. Zach Ertz just reaches in and rips it away on the
Yeah,
ground. They give it to Ertz because the receiver gets the favor out of a 50-50 ball, but like
yeah,
it should have been an interception. No reason that linebacker should not have come down with the ball, and Ertz
yeah.
just was like, no shot, give me that shit. And just yanked
Yes,
it out of his fucking arm. It was
yes,
so sick to watch. And like in the replay right away, I was like, "This is the Des Bryant Packers catch from years ago. Like this is that. This
yep.
is exactly what happened." And he caught it and ripped it out, and then they counted in or whatever. And they did. They
Yeah,
didn't even question it. The refs were just like, nope, it hit together, hit their ball.
yeah,
And then they rushed to play so that they couldn't challenge it. And the challenge flag was apparently on the field, but the refs didn't see it. It was a whole thing. But
yeah,
yeah, it was, yeah, he ripped it and they moved right along.
yep. Yes, bless. And then just wrapping this game up, Brian Robertson, 17 carries,
Yes. Yep.
133 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
He
He's
didn't get
looking
the
good.
touchdown, but dang, I mean, those stat lines alone,
Yep.
you, the Commanders have something to work with.
That's it. That's their defense is pretty legit, young but legit. And then on offense, they have
Yeah, I don't
Jaden
know if I'll
Daniels
call
and
him
Brian
pretty legit,
Robinson.
but
Yeah, legit might be too
when he
confident, but
played the
yeah,
Giants,
Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson Jr. is a hell of a backfield to have. Like
yes,
that's a solid backfield to be
yeah,
there. And then Terry McLaurin, like yeah, that's it.
yes,
If you have
Scary
all three of
Terry,
them healthy, you have a 3-headed monster. So
yes. Moving on, I think we're both fans here. The Chargers 26, Panthers 3.
yeah,
I don't think that's a surprise.
no, this is a
Look,
easy
this
one to
is
wrap up.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's how Harbaugh's gonna run his team. You
yeah,
run the
it,
football, you give a few
J.K.
pass
Dobbins.
plays. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, 17 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. I think that's to be expected. And
Yeah.
then the Panthers are just panthering.
The
I
Panthers
don't.
are so bad. They are
Yeah,
so bad. And I forget they have Adam Thielen. They have Miles Sanders. Like they have other players that they went and got. Like
yeah,
these poor guys, and it's just ugh, yeah, it's a tough day
yeah,
for the Panthers right now. I mean, they have nice, beautiful weather pretty much year round, but that's about it. Other
yeah,
than that, it's rough. But yeah, I hate having to root for the Chargers because it's an interdivision for the Broncos. But I love me some Harbaugh. It just he just
yeah,
I gotta root for Harbaugh. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean that game, yeah, it was pretty much to be
Hard not to
expected.
as
So
Michigan fans.
yeah, a sloppy game to watch. Browns 18, Jacksonville Jaguars 13 puts the Jags
Yeah,
down 0-2. Browns looks pretty terrible too. Deshaun runs it in for a touchdown himself. They look like they had a little bit of chemistry versus last week because it was a complete shit show. So that's not saying much.
yeah,
Um, the Jags looked bad. Trevor was missing a lot of passes, 220 yards, but no touchdowns, nothing like
yeah,
nothing fancy. It was not a great day for the
yeah.
Jags.
The Prince is not princing
No,
very
no, no,
well.
no, no, not very much.
So,
Yeah, it's yeah that again. There wasn't really much there. Travis Etienne got me my touchdown that I needed for a parlay, and other than that,
there
yeah,
you
I had
go.
Amari Cooper 3 catches for 11 yards. Like he shit the bed
Yeah,
completely. So yeah, that was a sloppy game. That was not pretty. Um,
yep. And
another
that's pretty much it.
yeah, that's yeah wraps that one up. Another
Yeah,
leading us right into a good one though.
yeah. The alternate universe is back, and the Ravens lose 23 to 26 to the Raiders at home. The Raiders come across the country and beat you at home. I'll be honest, I did not watch any of this game, so I'll let
Oh,
you
I did.
cover.
This was like the main game I watched, and that's it. Just like the Ravens just were struggling from the start, and it was again, you were like, okay, they're gonna get it going here soon, and just didn't.
Yeah,
Lamar was 21 for 34, 247, touchdown and a pick. Derrick Henry looked good, 18 for 84. But I
yeah,
mean, they don't have that big giant running back by committee. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and they had another one. I'm forgetting the name right now, but Isaiah likely did not have his bounce back game like everybody thought. It was a rough day for the Ravens offense,
Yeah.
and it was one where I was just like, I'm picking
The
them for
weather was all
AFC
right there,
conference.
right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice here today. It's 2 hours south from us. Like, yeah, it was.
Shit's wild.
Justin Tucker, I think, missed 2 field goals from 50 or more yards, so he's
Oh my
struggling right
goodness.
now. Zay Flowers did have a couple of nice plays, but that was about it. Like, that was the only.
Just one. He's
I
three
know
for
just
four.
one. Yeah, yeah, just one.
Yeah.
3 for 4. Yep. Um, but yeah, other than that, yeah, there was really nothing to talk about with the Ravens. The Raiders, Devontae Adams, still a dog. Brock
Yeah.
Bowers, no hair, can catch a football though. And then Gardner Minshew is just hilarious to watch. Again, he's another one where
Yeah.
it's just like when the man's on the field, it's just funny to watch him play. Like, by no means are you like inspired or anything. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Main shout out from that game is Max Crosby. That dude is a freak. That dude is
He is.
he's grown man business. Like, he is just moving people around. They're double teaming him. They're stacking the line. Like, they're having people fall back. Like, he is just running through the first wave, getting past the second, and still getting to like
Yeah.
Lamar of all quarterbacks. And everyone saw his thing recently. He went viral for his that quarterbacks Netflix thing where Max talks about how
Yeah.
he loves punching the quarterbacks and just like roughing them up and bending fingers and spitting on them. And he was just like, that's what I do. He's like, I'm that's what I do. And so, like, knowing that that's what he's out there doing, like, he's punching Lamar, he's giving him little jabs, little Charlie horse punches and stuff like that. Like, he's hitting him any way he can. He's putting pressure on his arms and things like that when they're
Yeah.
getting up. Like, you always see players pushing another player up to get up and stuff like that, but that takes a toll on you when a man is
Yeah.
two something and can lift 4 or 5 something. Like, that dude's pushing you down with some pressure. So
Yeah.
yeah, Max Crosby's a freak. He holds their defense together. I think him and Antonio Pierce is the coach. Like, that gives them like an identity. And yeah, them being 1-1 is a scary thing for us, because that's, as the Broncos, we're 0-2. The Chargers look good. The Chiefs look good. The Raiders are looking better. Like, we could be
Yeah.
the laughing stock of our division here for a little while, and that's scary to see.
Yeah. You guys could be picking that quarterback next year. Arch Manning
Shador
again.
Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a.
that's actually, that's a good point. Maybe Peyton was like, "Hey, let's lose some games here, guys. Let's lose a couple of games." That's a good point. Now you got me with my tinfoil hat on again. Peyton is orchestrating Arch to the Broncos, so it's all okay.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway from this episode.
Okay.
Is episode 4, Arch to the Broncos. I love it. I'm so hyped now. I'm on the Archie Manning train. Let's get it.
Reminds me of the suck for luck campaign.
Yes. Hey, I'll take an Andrew Luck quarterback. I will absolutely take an Andrew Luck. Give me another Andrew Luck. That's better than the last few quarterbacks we've had.
Fair enough.
Dude, Caleb's taking some hits tonight.
Yeah.
Caleb
That's
Williams is
that.
taking
Yeah.
some hits tonight.
Yeah. There's another one. Boom.
Ooh,
Moving
I
on.
don't know.
Cardinals 41, Rams 10. We talked about this earlier. I don't know what to say about the Rams. I think there was some 10 or 11 starters to injury.
It's rough.
Um, yeah, the Cardinals, I guess they're a decent team, right? They went toe to toe with the Bills, and here they are blowing out the Rams at home.
And Marvin
Um,
Harrison was ice cold week 1, 2 touchdowns this week, both I believe in
yeah,
first quarter, if not definitely first half.
yeah. Four
Kyler was on
receptions for 130 yards is and two
crazy.
touchdowns is a
It's
wild stat
crazy.
line in the
Yeah,
NFL.
it's wild. Four
Yeah,
catches and 2 touchdowns is bananas. And yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Kyler looked like an angry toddler running around this week, like as if you took his chocolate milk. He was pissed.
yeah.
Heard people talking shit about him playing
The
Call of Duty.
the yawning emoji
Yeah,
after.
he
Heck
probably listened
yeah,
to our. That's probably what it was. He said Dana and AJ are boring. He listened to our podcast and heard me call him a toddler. He said, "Okay, cool, I got you."
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, the Cardinals. Yeah, again, the Rams, like you said, 11 starters out. That's crazy. So, is it fair to say that they're getting stomped? But or are the Cardinals that good? I feel like the Cardinals are not that good.
yeah.
I feel like they just don't have the pieces to be that good. Like, they don't have a ton of pieces on defense.
We'll see. I
Kyler's,
think next week.
yeah, I think
Next week
it's
they get the Lions at home. I think
that'll be
that's
a
I
sign
think
for
that's a
both
big game.
games.
Yeah,
Both
the
teams are
Lions
going to
looking to
tell some
bounce
tale.
back.
Yeah,
Are the Cardinals this good? I think
yeah,
that's where we'll find
yeah.
out. Moving on
I
to
don't even want to. Let's just stop
now,
here.
you just want to skip that game.
Yeah, no, let's just stop. Podcast over. I'm done. I'm retiring. Yeah, the Broncos suck, dude. We're so bad. I like standing in. This is the first like year that the boys are old enough to see and experience NFL Sundays. Ray and Kaylee are both here this weekend, and like the boys are like, "What are we doing today?" And they're both like, "Your dad's watching football today. Like, this is what we do on Sundays. Like, your dad does shit 6 days a week. Sunday we watch football during football season." And like, this is what I look forward to is to watch football, and like we suck so bad. Bo Nix just not the answer. Reynolds, our receiver, looks okay. Like we have a couple of young pieces. Our defense is okay. Like we're holding these teams down to some points and staying with them, but like losing to the Seahawks, losing to the Steelers, and the Steelers did not look great. Like they did not look good at all, and we
Yeah.
still lost. Like we just look so bad. Like we are just so goofy playing. So yeah, I do not have high hopes. Like I said, honestly, you just made my whole weekend making me think that we're tanking for Archie Manning. Like I legit think he played so well Saturday, and Peyton made a call and said, "Fuck this game up tomorrow." Like that's how quick it happened. Like he played well on Saturday, and Peyton called and said, "Go ahead and fumble the bag here." So yeah, so every game this year, thank you for that. I'm just gonna get excited that we're just tanking for Archie Manning. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, other than that though, I mean there wasn't too much out of this game. The Steelers, like Najee Harris didn't do anything crazy. George Pickens is just quiet yet again. I mean, they have Justin Fields as their quarterback, 48.7 QBR. I didn't even know you could go that low. I thought 58.3 was the lowest. Or
Yeah.
QB. Oh, I'm looking at QBR instead of rating.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were different. But yeah,
Yeah.
97.3 still is not a fantastic QB rating. That's why I was like, I thought it was 58.3 was the minimum. But yeah, so yeah, not a lot. The Broncos do not have a lot of big names on our team anymore. Cortland Sutton was quiet today, so yeah, it's a rough day out there in Denver.
Fair enough. I
Yeah,
don't. Steelers, we mentioned them earlier. Steelers fans,
I'm not. Yeah,
congratulations.
I'm not sold.
I
Not
can't
sold.
buy the stock. I'm not.
Not sold.
Yeah, not buying the
You don't have a
stock.
real quarterback, so like your defense is legit. You got
Yeah.
T.J. Watt over there murdering everyone, like that's great and all, and you have Najee Harris who's a dog, but like what else? What
Yeah.
else really does Pittsburgh have at that point? So
Yeah.
yeah, you beat us, but we all suck. So welcome. Yeah, here's your bronze fucking medal. Sit down next to
Yeah,
us.
you got the Falcons and the Broncos. I don't think anybody's impressed with your 2-0 start.
Yeah, not at all. So here was a very solid game. This was a really good game.
It
Chiefs
was. This is what
Bengals.
I was watching.
Yeah, Chiefs
Just
Bengals
gonna have to watch this.
26-25. Bengals get the win by or the Chiefs get the win by 1 point on a
Walk off
walk-off
field
field
goal.
goal.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people are going to say,
What are
"Well,
we
of
gonna
course,
say?
what of course
What's
the
your
Chiefs
take?
got their penalty." I I like in basketball, they have like a theory the referees say it all the time where they it like it it's not black and white. It is not linear.
Yeah.
The first 3 quarters of the game, or first three, four, 5 games of a series, they're going to call the fouls as is to the book. They're not going to give someone a weird foul to end a series. And just like UFC is not going to make a weird decision to lose a belt. If it's 50-50, just like the receiver and the defensive back landing on the ground with the ball together. In UFC, if it's a belt fight, they're not giving the belt up if it's not a clear cut win.
Yeah.
And I did not love the pass interference. He was definitely there early. I think receivers sold it a lot by flopping forward, and that made it look better. But I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't like the game being decided on that. Like they had 4 downs to get it. I like the
Yeah.
game being decided on that. I like it ending there. Again, I'm biased because I want the Chiefs to lose, and they're in my division. But I think the Bengals played well enough to get that done, and they
Mhm.
didn't even play that well today. And then the Chiefs get bailed out by a penalty, like a late throw. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm rough
I.
on it.
Yeah. I'm slightly the opposite. I think as much as you're not so much leaning one way, I'm not so much leaning the other way.
Yeah,
Uh, it's a penalty.
yeah,
By the
black and
book,
white. Yep.
it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
penalty.
Yep.
And I know I think a lot of the argument here has to do with the team and that again
Yeah,
the
they
Chiefs
always seem to
seem
get
to be
it.
bailing
Yeah.
out at the
Yep.
end of a game. They get that penalty call whether it's a Super Bowl or and look,
Yeah.
that's a holding call. I don't want to get into it. Whether it's a Super Bowl, it's an AFC Championship game. It just seems that they are always getting that
Something.
that
An
where you
extra.
say it's not black and white, they're getting that gray area every
Yes.
time
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
their way at the end of these
Yeah.
games.
Because like that's one where like it could have went the other way, and like
Yeah,
Chiefs fans would have been pissed, but the rest of the world would have been like, I mean, he was there a little early, but it wasn't a big deal. Like you
yeah,
should have caught it anyway. Like he didn't really do enough to cause it, but like their
yeah,
point was like his feet weren't set before he vertically jumped, and yeah, yeah. Again, I just don't like it deciding the game. Like it basically
yes,
puts them in field goal range. The game's over at that point. They're gonna
yeah,
kick it and win it. Like they have Harrison, Kitchen Boy Buttlicker, and like it's over at that point. So I get it. Yeah, it was a penalty, and
Yeah.
that's why like I wouldn't hate it. Like it is what it is. It's one of those ones you just wish it didn't happen that way. Like you want a
Yes.
game like that to end in a better situation. If it's a UFC title fight, if it's a receiver and a defensive back, if it's a game seven, like you want it to be down to the players, not to the refs or
Yeah.
to any of the technicalities and silly shit. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Chiefs 2-0, Bengals 0-2. Jamar Chase did not look great. The Bengals might be in trouble.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting locker room for the rest of the year. And again, we were both high on them. We were high on the Ravens, and
I was
it's the
very high on the
Chiefs.
Bengals this year, and
Yeah, we both had them in conference
we'll
championship, and they're both 0
see what
2. So,
happens. It's not
do you have?
impossible, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
So,
And then this game literally just wrapped up. We have the Texans beating the Bears 19 to 13. Texans at home. Uh, I watched the vast majority of this game, although I did, if I'm self-admitting, I replayed the F1 race that I missed earlier this morning, so it was on the other screen. But I don't know. The nothing really stood out to me in this game besides Nico Collins,
besides Nico
8
Collins,
receptions, 135 yards,
he's
and
a
a
freak.
touchdown. Yeah. Um, and
Yeah,
then you
their
mentioned it
receiving core in
earlier.
general, Tank Dell,
Yes.
Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins is just
Yes.
crazy.
And then you mentioned it earlier with Caleb just getting walloped out
Yeah,
there.
dude. So many hits. 7 sacks
Yeah.
for 40 yards is
Yeah.
crazy. And yeah, he was running for his life
Yes.
and was still getting hit hard. And like
Yeah.
you
And
don't want to do that your
yeah.
second game in the NFL.
Yeah. And I think that's what we were expecting pretty much in Chicago this year.
He
Is
doesn't have any other
I
options.
thought
So
I thought he would be a little more accurate than he has been.
yes, me
Although
too.
today he did look better than
Yep.
week one. Um, but
I it might be the old fashioned get off my lawn, grumpy ass old man in me, but like I just watch those little things that happen, and I'm no fucking expert. See
yeah.
episode one, but there was a throw late in the game to Romo Dunes, who played through his injury today, not
Yes.
expected to play for 2 more weeks, and played through today. They said he just was like, "Fuck it, I'm playing hurt. I want to win. Like, let's get out here and ball out. Want
Yeah.
to build chemistry with Caleb." Late in the game, there was like an out route to the right. He beat the corner clearly, and Caleb overthrew the fuck out of it
Yes.
because Caleb was getting pressured.
Mhm.
As soon as it happened, Rome did one of those like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, man!" and just like kind of stood there in
Yeah.
disbelief kind of thing, and then like walked back to the huddle. And it's shit like that where like 2 games in, like you're not Antonio Brown. You can't be doing diva shit yet. Like put me up 100 touchdowns and then start doing crazy shit like that. Like
Yeah.
you can't be throwing fits on your second game. And so that's one where like I think their chemistry could come together. Caleb had his first interception today. He didn't throw one last week, but also none of the
Yeah.
rookie QBs I think have a touchdown yet. Jaden, Caleb, or Bo, none of them have thrown a touchdown pass yet. Yeah, pathetic.
Weird stat.
Yeah, weird stat, but all three of the rookie quarterbacks who are starting have not thrown a
Yeah.
touchdown pass yet, but also neither has Bryce Young, who was a rookie last year. So, but yeah, so yeah, I think the Bears get it together. I think this might not be their year though. I think next year they could look a lot better. They'll probably end up picking up a piece in free agency that kind of helps the veteran leadership because like DeAndre Swift was a sweet pickup, but other than that, like they didn't really do too much to help the offense stay
Yeah.
afloat. And so yeah, Caleb's kind of on his own.
That's fair.
And also Joe
Great
Mixon
assessment.
left with a pretty rough looking ankle injury with like one of those hip drop
The
tackle
hip drop
things. And I have him
tackle.
on fantasy, which sucks.
Oh,
So yeah, his
did you
shit
see the
got ripped.
punch?
Yes, dude, no
Yeah.
flags or anything. That dude, the NFL is gonna make such a
he
point out of that. And
boom.
the dude just kind of looks at his and dude. That is one we could have a whole episode talking about punching people with a helmet on. I will never in my fucking life be like, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like
Not only
if you're
punching with you having the helmet on and throwing the punch, but also punching somebody that
with
has
that,
a
no,
helmet
that's what
on.
I mean.
Yeah.
Like if you have a helmet on, punch everyone because then no one can punch you
No,
back.
that's
If I'm getting
weak. That's weak.
no, but
Get the
okay,
fuck
but if I'm
out
in
of
a
here.
zombie fight, I'm putting a helmet on. I'm just gonna start
Okay,
punching.
yeah, if we're
Yeah,
fighting
see,
zombies,
but
but
as
if
a but
you're
like
gonna
yeah,
punch a grown ass man, you better take your
punching. So
helmet off.
yeah, that's so like I want Cortland Finnegan, Andre Johnson times rip each other's helmets off like a hockey fight and just start wailing on each other. Yeah, I saw that and was like, I saw it real time and was like, okay, they're about to start throwing flags, get everybody separated. And then I heard the announcers go, well, "This isn't over. They're still arguing over here." And they do the
Yeah,
replay, and the referee. It looks like one of those situations where like the parent is just looking the other way, and there's like 4 kids behind him doing shit. The ref is like focused on one player, and that dude literally stands up and punches him, pushes
yeah,
someone else, and backs up, and no one sees a thing. No one saw anything.
yeah.
So Yeah, that'll be interesting on how that plays out. But that dude's definitely getting a fine, maybe even a suspension since he didn't get kicked out of this game. They might give him a 1 game suspension. I could maybe see. I think anything more than that's too heavy because it was just a single ass punch to a. The guy wasn't even on the field too. That was the funniest part. The guy he
Yeah,
punched was
he wasn't
not
playing.
playing.
Yeah,
That
he
guy,
just
he's
stood
like,
up.
what?
Bam.
What did I do?
Yeah,
That's so funny. So yeah, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, the Bears. That's they look dysfunctional as always, and yeah, the Texans offense is the takeaway from that game that they stay
yeah,
if they stay healthy and keep shit rolling, they're gonna look pretty damn good. So
yeah. All right,
all
moving
right,
on to just my little wrap up about motorsports.
love it,
F1 race this morning at 7 a.m. local time, so I was like, yeah, I'll record that.
love it.
Oscar Piastri pulls out an impressive win, and they were out in Baku, Azerbaijan, which is a very cool track, by the way. And yeah, Perez and Sainz get together, coming to the end, and take each other out. So I don't know. We'll see, but solid win for Oscar Piastri. If you're a McLaren fan, props to you. As a Mercedes fan, George Russell finished third, so that's great. And my more important driver, Lewis Hamilton, finished ninth because those two wrecked out, but he started from pit road, so it's what it
Nice.
is. And then moving to NASCAR, Chris Buescher wins the race. Not too much to go off of here. It was a great last lap if you get a chance to watch it. But the weird stat from this race, it's the first race in NASCAR's top three series, which is Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, uh, in the playoffs where a non-playoff driver did not finish in the top five. So
Damn,
just yeah, weird little stat.
that was a
Top
weird
six.
weekend in sports entirely. Then
Yeah,
that's the football weirdness carried over everywhere.
yeah. So pretty
Um,
cool.
I'll I'll do. Are you done with
Oh yeah,
motorsports?
yeah. Go ahead. UFC,
Perfect.
right?
I'll say,
There's a,
yeah,
a
and
fight.
do quick UFC fight. I'll touch boxing real quick. I got to tune into the Canelo Alvarez fight a little bit. Beat the hell out of Edgar Berlanga. Solid. Got to retain his title. Aside from that, Canelo's a freak. That guy is a monster. He's coming up on like Floyd Mayweather stats at this point, so like he's one that you might
Okay.
enjoy watching. Like yeah, Canelo's out there
I at
beating the
least
hell out of
recognize the
people.
name mostly
Yeah,
from Joe Rogan, but
he's kind of like a little ginger haired dude, but yeah, he's out there beating the hell out of people. So yeah,
yeah.
that was sweet. But I watched the entire UFC fight start to finish. It was a fantastic card for what wasn't supposed to be a crazy card. No knockouts, 5 decisions. All were pretty clear cut decisions. Went right through. I won't go through each and every one of them. The two big ones were the women's flyweight, which was the co-main, Valentina Shevchenko. Um, the previous the previous title owner was Alexa Grasso, and Valentina pretty much beat the hell out of her the whole time. It was pretty solid. She a few moments she really almost had like her arm broken backwards and like she was in like guillotine chokes and things like that and like found weird ass ways to get out of it. So it's just a really good fight. She just came in, dominated, took the title, and then the next fight was one I was excited for. Sugar Sean O'Malley. Really thought Sean was going to do a lot more. I was excited for him to fight, and it just from the first few moments you could tell it was going to be a very long night.
Mm,
He's the striker. He's tall, lanky. He can get you from distance. The guy he was fighting was like the annoying buzz kid that has too much energy when you're in like middle school. Like he just was like over like just bouncing around and just like attacking the whole night. And so
okay.
like right away, like yeah, he's just had more body weight and he's shorter, so like his weight's a little more stacked. So yeah, he just kind of kept getting a hold of Sean and getting him down on the ground. And it was a very long, drawn out fight, but you could from the start he just was getting hits in on Sean, and Sean just really couldn't do anything about it. Sean was smiling and kind of laughing the whole time. So it's one of those where like he wasn't getting hurt, but like he couldn't do it. It's weird to watch. I'm really excited for you to watch one of your first fights because you'll see things like that where like
Yeah,
they know that they're not going to win, but they're not about to get knocked out. They're not going to let that shit happen. So they're like, fuck it, I'm going to make this go to the decision and then see what happens. But yeah, so Marab just was all. I'm not even going to try to. Marab, he got the title. He got the bantamweight. He's the new bantamweight title. So good for him. It was down in Mexico, I believe, is where it was hosted. No, it was in the Sphere in Las Vegas. That's
yeah.
right. So yeah, so that was pretty sweet. We got a UFC event out in the Sphere, and so that was pretty sick. But yeah, lots of good UFC fights. And then major news: John Jones now reported to come back, fight Stipe Miocic in November. Was supposed to fight him last year, tore a titty muscle in a spar, and took a year off. And now the pec is looking good. So greatest UFC fighter ever is going to come back and whoop some ass most likely in MSG in November. So that will definitely be one that I will probably watch. And John and I were joking around about getting tickets.
MSG going?
Cheapest tickets, $900 for like the
It's early.
top corner, like away. Yeah, it did. It just got announced like 2 days ago,
Yeah.
so there'll be resale tickets, but yeah, it'll still probably be $1,000 weekend for two people to go. So yeah, I don't know. I think at that point I'd rather just sit at home with some beers and be able to sit and watch it. But yeah, very excited for that. But yeah, it was a good UFC fight. Lots of good fights coming. So yeah, very excited for the fall season of fights.
Fair enough. And then I will wrap us up with a fun fact. Eugene Aldrin, the father of the famous astronaut Buzz Aldrin, was alive for the Wright brothers' first flight and his son landing on the moon.
Interesting.
So imagine
So
that.
another, just like last time, another carryover of timelines.
Yeah.
Because Snoop and Picasso fucked me up for the rest of the night. Yo, we got off the call and I just was like, huh, that is so crazy. Interesting.
Yep. So it's
First
just
flight
famous.
and
It's
him being on the moon.
yeah. Imagine having your first off hearing about the first flight. I don't know, weeks later in the newspaper. I'm assuming.
I mean, literally, I mean, like
Yeah.
somebody flew.
Yeah. Exactly. And then your son of all people is the one who lands on the
Lands on the
moon.
moon. Well, that probably was an inspiration where he was like, kiddo, this is what you're going to do. And also, he was a junior. Buzz Aldrin, obviously, Buzz wasn't his real name, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's Edwin Eugene Aldrin Sr.
Yeah.
and Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr.
Yep.
Interesting. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's a solid fact to end on. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us
Yes.
on this Monday morning.
Thank you.
We will be
Have a
back
great
for
day.
another episode. We talked about potentially doing maybe a Monday Night Live. We're gonna figure it out for this week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now that we got
I'll be
internet,
here. I'll be
now that we
sitting in
got
this chair
internet,
watching football.
now that we got internet and tech issues assumably figured out, we're getting everything kind of worked out, all the kinks and stuff. Again, we appreciate you guys. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, wherever else
Apple,
we
not
are.
yet. They're fighting
Apple,
with
not
me
yet.
about
Yeah,
confirming an email address because I don't
that's
have a
yeah.
Mac.
Ah, it's one of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. We'll get that all figured out. But we are on Spotify, so the main place a lot of people listen to their
Yep.
podcast. If you want the audio only, video podcast going to go up on Facebook and YouTube like usual. But yeah, we appreciate you guys and have a great rest of your week.